Hey GPS fam, it's Nick here with another community showcase. Before we get into that, take a second to subscribe, like this video, and share it with your friends. It helps us keep making cool content like this. Now, let's get into the video. Start this. All right, perfect. Hey guys, it's Nick again from Showcases with Nick. Today we have a very special guest, Adventures with Fat Guy on Instagram, aka Willy Soto. How you doing, Willy?
What it do? How you doing, Nick? Good to see you.
Good. I want to first off thank you for waking up so early to do this. You're over there on the West Coast, so thank you so much for opening up your time and getting after it early today.
Absolutely, man. I always get up early. I mean, there's usually something rocking and rolling around here, but yeah, absolutely, man. I appreciate you, man.
Sweet. So Willy, just tell us a little bit more about yourself. A lot of people may not know about the DJing days and all that kind of stuff. So take us, growing up, what that was like, and then up until now. Tell us a little bit more about yourself.
For sure. So, man, crazy story, crazy background. So I have been a DJ for like 20 years, did some professional stuff. Actually, it's kind of funny because I started messing around with it after high school. A lot of my friends did. And kind of just dabbled around with it and kind of see how I just had such a passion for music. So my mom had me really young, and so we kind of grew up together in a sense, right? So some of her music and stuff that she would listen to, like, I don't know, it just always stuck with me. So I always had a passion for music. And that always transitioned throughout my life, right? And you'll see it a lot in my videos and stuff. People always like, man, where did you find that? And it's just me throughout my years, all of the music that I've grown up with. But nevertheless, that kind of turned into, I wonder if I should pick up some equipment. Let me try, DJing my own and messing around with friends. Eventually, I got pretty decent at it, but I just knew that there was something missing. My buddy opened a sports bar out here, and he was like, yo, you're gonna be my DJ. I was like, bro, stop. I've never done this, on a professional level, right? Or in a club level. So I was like, well, let's give it a whirl. So for me, I mean, and it kind of transitions into everything that I do. If I'm going to do it, I try my best to do it to the best of my capability, right?
Yeah.
And so I wound up going to school for it. I went to a Scratch DJ Academy out in West LA. It was started by Jam Master Jay before he passed. And I kind of learned vinyl. I was never a musician, so I didn't know how to count beats, bars, and measures. I didn't know music. And they taught me all of that. And that's kind of, how the DJ thing kind of started from there. I started a mobile DJ company, weddings, corporate events, that type of stuff. Some radio stuff. I'm answered with ODM at 99.1 from Lighter Shade of Brown for a few years. Been on air with Big Boy at Power 106, back in the day. And it was pretty dope. I got to meet some pretty cool people, do some pretty cool things. So that was kind of always my side gig. And actually, that was what my handle was DJ the Lord, which is pain in Spanish, right?
Yeah.
And funny story, but yeah, we had to pick a DJ name going through school. I never had a name. It was just me. And they're like, nah, bro, like this is the real deal. You got to pick a DJ name. So I remember whenever I would DJ someplace, the biggest complaint is, man, I'd wake up and their feet would always be hurting. Like I would get people calling me the next day and like, man, my feet are killing me. And I was like, Dolor, let's do that. So yeah, that's how the name came about. But anyways, that kind of carried on, and in the middle of the pandemic, in the early phases of it, my page was always, about gigging here and there, but mostly just my family life, right? And that's kind of where the page kind of, I didn't want to say stalled out, but it was mostly just me and my family life. And I've always cooked. It's just kind of funny because a lot of people thought that when I came onto the scene, the foodie scene, right? That I was kind of just, a flash in the pan, or that, I was kind of just riding the wave and trying to be, part of, what everybody was doing at the moment, right? But I had been cooking my whole life. Like my mom, like I said, my mom had me really young, and that's kind of where my cooking background comes from. I was always in the kitchen watching her cook, watching her do stuff. And she just has such a freestyle, old school approach to it. No recipes, gangster, freestyles it, see something is like,
A little
yo, I'm
bit
gonna
here, a
come up.
little bit there. Yeah,
Exactly,
I
man. I'm
feel
gonna come up
that.
with my version of this. So that transitioned into me and kind of my cooking style now, right? So anyhow, when when the pandemic kicks off, and I was sitting like right here, and I remember going, man, you know what? I'm gonna do something different with my page. Like I don't gig virtually at all. I mean, I was really picky on when I would gig. I have a high school, teenage daughter, married, and I just wasn't gigging as much. Man, I'm gonna try something else. And we
Yeah.
were kicking around names. My wife and I were just talking, and I had thought of this, and I was like, well, there's no way that the handle's available. So let me see, a variation of it.
Yeah.
I was putting dots and underscores and all kinds of stuff. And I typed it into IG, and it said user not found. And like, that I was that emoji, the head blown, like there's no possible way.
Yeah.
Nobody has adventures of a fat guy. So I was like, you know what? It's gonna happen. And I just
Yeah.
I completely flipped my page, went over to Adventures of a Fat Guy,
Cool.
snatched up the website, and that's kind of how all of this got rolling. But
Yeah.
again, when I first started out, a lot of people thought, man, this dude isn't like, there's nothing on his page that shows that he's been cooking all these years. But
Uh-huh.
it's funny, I share with people some of the pictures of me. I've always grilled, I've always done something like that, just not in the capacity like back then. There was really not as much ways, or many ways rather, to
Hmm.
document it, right? The
For sure.
social media wasn't around and do all the stuff that we do now, but now
Yeah.
it's essentially what I've done my whole life, but I'm just documenting it with my phone now. So it's
Cool.
kind of crazy.
That's sweet. That's sweet. You mentioned, growing up and stuff, where you kind of got your music stuff was from your mom in the kitchen, cooking, listening to music. What kind of music did you listen to?
So it's kind of so being Mexican, being Latino, a lot of cumbia, a lot of that type of music, but also a lot of old school. My mom's kind of old school. We do
Cool.
disco, and I grew up in the area of when hip hop really jumped off, and when Ice Cube and NWA popped off, and
Gotcha.
all of that era. Like, to be part of that was crazy, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that kind of married with my mom's kind of old school stuff, right?
It's a good
And
mix.
but it's funny because, like I said, she had me really young, and we were into the same vibe at the same time. It was kind of funny, but
Yeah.
yeah, that's kind of where the background came from, and where the music selection comes from. And then
Cool.
as throughout the years, as my music taste evolved,
Mm-hmm.
I kind of always carried that. And I love everything though, like especially
Yeah.
DJ. You do a wedding, or a corporate event or something like that, and it's it's whatever the crowd wants, right? So my music goes back to like the 20s or the 30s. I have some old school
Wow.
jazz, some really old stuff, but I really pride myself. I like a lot of original artists if I can find it. So
Gotcha.
I like to know who did it, where the sample came from, like that type of stuff, right?
Sweet.
So yeah, so that's kind of the music that I'm into now. But I love everything. I love classic rock. I love hard rock. I do like country. You'll see me drop a country joint every once in a while.
Uh-huh.
Like yeah, I don't, if it's good music, and that's kind of where I'm at with food. If it's good food, if it's good
Exactly.
music, like that's just what it's all about. It's all about the good vibes. And that's really what I try to represent on the page, is just good vibes.
For sure. Especially, I mean, you were talking about how this all kind of took off during the pandemic and stuff. That's kind of, I mean, you see your following. I'm sure that's probably what got people so attracted to you, is like, oh, like all this bad stuff around us is going on, but hey, this guy can give us something to look forward to every day, or something we can share with our family, using his recipes. You have the recipe stuff up there. So I think that is very important. I think that's, why you became so dominant and stuff in the community.
No, thank
Um,
you, man.
I'm
That's
looking at
well
your page right now,
done.
actually. I see this fettuccine Alfredo you made a day ago.
Oh yeah, we
Um,
did.
it's great. But then like right next to it, you have the enchiladas. You're cooking a turkey, you do steak. Were these kind of things, that your mom did as well? Or did she kind of stick to one kind of thing, and then took her stuff and made it into your own? What kind of stuff did she do?
Great question. So because she was, like I said, she's gangster, right? She doesn't really follow any recipes.
Exactly.
And that really, it was just whatever. So it's funny to look back now and even reflect on some of my, my posts on my page. I don't really have like a quote unquote style, right?
Yeah.
Sometimes I just like what's good and I share what's good, but there are some classic recipes that are out there. And the thing is that, with social media, so many people are, are recipe gangsters and everybody knows everything and everybody's a professional, right?
Yeah.
So they're gonna nitpick you and they're gonna shred you no matter, man. It doesn't matter if you're cooking with, with Gordon himself, they're gonna shred you, right? It doesn't make a
Exactly.
difference. So yeah, so to answer the question about style wise, like she was just, like I said, freestyle a lot of it, but a lot of Mexican food. I mean,
Cool.
absolutely. That was kind of where, where things started. And on the page, I think that's really what I wanted it to represent. I didn't want it to be gimmicky, if that makes sense. I
Yeah.
didn't want
Like,
it to
oh,
be.
like another barbecue page or another home cooking thing. You wanted to put your own
And not
spice
so
into
much
it per
not
se.
like another, but there's so many people that are good at that, right? That are
Hmm.
crushing that.
Yeah,
Fantastic barbecue pages. I mean, and I've been blessed to have some crazy cool people jump on board, following me, commenting.
for
It's
sure.
been cool, Benny, from Kendrick Barbecue, and Adam, this Juke and Q, and James from Certified Creole. He's one
Yeah,
of my he's the homie. He's taught me a lot.
good stuff.
Chuck was just on here. Chuck's the homie. Like all of these cool people were like, hey, there might be something here. So it was cool to get, some of those people, the little tip of the hat, like, all right, I can
Exactly.
see, because I didn't want it to be, like I said, I didn't want it to be gimmicky. There's plenty of people doing that, and that just wasn't me. I didn't want it to be a persona. I really wanted it to be me. So when I came
Exactly.
up with it, I was like, Adventures of a Fat Guy, because I've been a big dude my whole life, man. Like I can't fake this. I'm a
Uh-huh.
fat dude, but I own it. It's me. It's who I am. I'm not promoting it. I'm not telling you to go out and do everything that I do. I'm just sharing a snapshot of my life. And
Exactly.
if you want to ride with me, ride with me. And I think that's kind of what um, it's kind of what's been a little bit more inviting, I guess, for more people,
Hmm.
and a broader genre of people, because it's not just cooking. I like craft beer. I like cigars. I like fishing. I like, when the pre-pandemic, we're camping and going out. And you'll see some of my stuff in my feed. We do Lake Tahoe every year. We do a big trip to Lake Tahoe, and
Yeah.
charter a boat and do some fishing for Mackinac up there, and just stuff like that. So we like to do a little bit of everything, and that's the reason why I wanted every day to be an adventure. Could be in my backyard cooking up a burger.
Uh-huh.
Adventure might be hopping in the truck and driving 2 hours for tacos. Like, you just don't know what it's going to be, and that was the thought process behind it, and why I wanted it to just be just literally me. I didn't want to have to, if I was out in public, have to switch hats real quick and be that guy. You run
Yeah.
across me on a taco truck, bro, I'm going to be exactly like this.
Exactly. Staying true to yourself, which is a good thing.
Yeah.
You mentioned, being a craft beer geek. It says here in your bio. It's something I share in common, like we share in common too. I'm a big craft beer guy. What are some, local breweries you have down? You're just like SoCal, right? You
Yeah,
said?
yeah. I'm in Southern
Cool.
California, Rancho Cucamonga, California.
Awesome. What are some
Yeah,
breweries
so
down there that you like and stuff?
there's some dope breweries that have like the craft game has just evolved so
Yeah.
much. It's just not like what it was before, when we
Mhm.
were chasing down trying to find, one single bottle of Pliny the Elder, or trying to find some crazy, unicorn tear. I call them unicorn tears. Everybody asks me, what are you drinking this weekend? Some sort of unicorn tear. Like, it's got to be something crazy.
Yeah,
But yeah,
exactly.
so the scene has really changed a lot, and there's a lot of local places that I really like.
Yeah.
King's Brewery, everybody knows that I'm there a lot.
Yeah.
It's funny story with King's. He the owners, Jeremiah and his wife, he they used to be my neighbor 2 doors down.
Oh, wow.
But we didn't know this was pre-King. This is before anything ever existed. And
Hmm.
we happened to be chatting one time at the bar, excuse me, at the brewery, and we were kind of just, wait a second. It was that whole deja vu moment, right? And then we started connecting the dots, and he was like, "Bro, two doors down. And I was like, no way. So yeah, so that's a little connection there with Kings. I do like Kings.
Cool.
Stout House, I was actually just there recently. They got some good stuff.
Awesome.
Hamilton puts out some good stuff. Banging beers here locally.
Yeah.
I down in Chino, they do some really, really good stuff.
This video is powered by Golden Protective Services, the industry leader in restaurant safety products. Not only does Golden Protective provide awesome services for restaurant safety programs, but their products can be used in a variety of settings, such as tattoo shops, home cooking, landscaping, automotive, and more. Visit GPS Gloves today so you can grab a pair of gloves and see for yourself why they are everyone's favorite glove company.
And then, you know, it's kind of crazy because, you know, not too far from us, you can head down to Stone, you can go to, you know, Pizza Port, you can go down to, there's so many different places that are local. Yeah, you know, like with Russian River, you know, I'm a big Russian River geek. And that was probably one of the best things that happened from the pandemic is that they ship in California.
Wow.
Not everybody knows, but I probably just blew up the spot, but nevertheless. It's supporting local business, but yeah, so you can order through them. So I've really I like a lot of different stuff. I'm a West Coast IPA. I like hazies. I like doubles. I like some crazy stuff, but also like stouts and porters and cool stuff like that. When you know, I'm having a cigar or something like that, they kind of just definitely different than, you know, back in the day, right? You know, when you're a youngster and whatever the heck's cold and whatever's going to give you the head change is kind of what went down.
Yeah, exactly. The Natty Light or the PBR or something like that. So
yeah, exactly, man. And I've never I just kind of got away from that. You know, you get a little bit older, a little bit wiser, and it's not about that. It's about the good flavor, the good beers, and just good times with the fan bam. So yeah, I love it. And another thing is with that is that, you know, a lot of people thought too, like, man, this dude's just riding the craft beer wave and not knowing that, you know, and it's not anything, but I'm just saying that I've been in and around it, you know, since since it really kicked off here in California. So it was pretty dope to kind of watch how it's transitioned the same way social media and cooking has transitioned. It's pretty dope to see the way things have evolved.
Yeah, for sure. You know, going back to, it seems that like your like home life growing up and stuff, you took stuff from your mom and stuff, and you said you are a father, you have a daughter. Does she, you know, is she kind of starting to get into cooking now because you are? Is she more the music side of you, combination of you and your wife, or what's that like at home?
I would say a combination of both. I mean, she's a baker actually, so she likes to bake.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that's something that I don't do. I mean, there's definitely a science behind that, right? More of a technical aspect to you know, exact measurements, and that's probably, we'll get back to that in a second, exact measurements. But she's very analytic, and she's just like me and very detail oriented. So that allows her to be, you know, really precise, but be creative at the same time. So she does cookies and breads and stuff like that. So she's really good at that. And the music, absolutely. It's kind of funny because so many of her friends are like, how do you even know that? Like, where did that song come from? Like, not knowing that, you know, her dad's been a DJ her whole life. And that's all that she knows is just types of music. So her playlists are pretty eclectic, to say the least.
That's a good thing though.
Yeah,
a lot of people just, you know, they're stuck on, you know, the only hip hop wave or like only country, but you know, it's a good thing when you find people that take a little bit here and there and stuff. So
yeah, I just feel like not enough DJs do that or did that back then. I guess when I was first starting, there was, you know, you were a house DJ, you were a hip hop DJ, you were, you know, a mainstream DJ, excuse me, a radio DJ. But for me, I liked music, period. So if it was dope, it had a dope vibe and a good beat, man, I'm gonna
run
play
after it.
Yeah, man. So, you know, I would mix and spin from, you know, from country to hip hop, or, you know, even from some old school. I'd pull in some classic stuff and figure out, you know, where the sample came from and have that right over the new hip hop version of it. And so yeah, it's been pretty cool to, I guess, to pull all of these things together, all the different things that I've done, and kind of let it express that, I guess, you know, on my page and kind of in my cooking.
For sure.
But funny story about the measurements, right? So that's probably one of the most difficult things for me, is because my mom freestyled it. What I do, I freestyle everything.
Freestyle.
90% of everything that I do, I freestyle. Now for techniques, I try my best. Just like when going back to the DJ stuff, I wanted to go to school to learn.
Yeah.
Professionally, I've been a machinist and, went back to school because I wanted to be a welder.
Gotcha.
I'm very interested in techniques. That's kind of what makes me tick. I love, excuse me, I love learning the right way to do things, right?
Exactly.
And then from there, you can kind of twist things and make it your own, add a different seasoning, a different spice. But the technical aspect, I try my best to make sure that I'm doing it so that other people would go, oh, okay, not necessarily to like to floss or be like, hey, this dude really knows what he's doing. But excuse me, I do want the other person who has no clue, how to cook a brisket or how to cook a steak or whatever it is, chicken, who knows what it is. I want to make sure that I give them the right temps, that I give them the right, the right way to cook it, the right methods.
Yeah. Still staying true to the craft of it all, not just, flam banging it and stuff like that.
Yeah. Now there's some there's some gangster stuff that goes down out there, and there are some pretty cool things that you're able to kind of incorporate, some different ways of doing things, and there's a lot of new stuff that's coming along. But yes, with the measuring, one of the first things people always ask is, how much did you use? How much salt was that? How much chicken broth did you add to that? And I'm like,
No idea.
I have no idea. So now what I have to do is I hop on my phone and I'm trying to write stuff down, or I'm trying to, include it in my reel. Hey, this was 2 cups of this or 3 cups of that. And my wife, as I said, my wife, when we first met, decent cook, right? We have this talk all the time. Decent cook. She's evolved into a really good cook. But her passion isn't cooking. Like that's not what her absolute love, right?
Yeah.
But she does like cooking for the family. She does love cooking for us. But it's not something that she looks forward to on the weekends. Like, yo, I can't wait to get my kitchen stuff, right? But her style is, she likes to follow a recipe. She likes the structure. She likes being, so that's what helps remind me, and she reminds me constantly, yo, you got to tell people, like, what did you just add? What is that? How much of it did you add? Because she's looking at it through her lens, which is, if I was watching this video, what exactly was that? How much chili did you add, and how much of this did you add? So that's probably the biggest struggle for me, and usually what my DMs pop off with, which is, give me a recipe. So that's probably been the hardest thing, is coming up with actual recipes, because like I said, man, I freestyle, and a lot of my stuff isn't the same. Very rare do I cook the same
just
thing.
However you're feeling that day,
However, and honestly, whatever I have.
Yeah.
Like, I have a lot of the staples on hand, right? You know what I mean? A lot of the basics. But if you notice that, and even in some of my cooks, a lot of the earlier stuff, and even a lot of the stuff now, I do a lot of leftovers. Like, I'm sure because people have it. Like, if you make it's 18-pound or 20-pound Packer brisket, you're probably going to come up with some other ways to use that.
Exactly.
So, I'm doing tacos with it. I'm doing mac and cheese with it. I'm doing, all kinds of just whatever I can come up with. And even just day-to-day stuff. We'll take something from the night before. I think we had just done, what did we do? Oh, we did fajitas. We did fajitas, and the chicken that we had bought, the pack of chicken, was friggin' massive. And I was like, man, what are we going to do with all this chicken? So we cooked some of it, did the fajitas, and I was like, well, we got to have some more chicken. Do some Alfredo. My wife does a banging Alfredo sauce.
It looks great.
Yeah, she does a really, really good job. And I keep pointing over here. She's in her office. She works from home. She's got an office.
Gotcha.
But so she does really, really good. And we collab. I call it our collabs and stuff like that. It's a lot of people ask, is she involved? And she is. She's my camera person. If not, my daughter is, and they're trying to help me get the shot.
Sweet.
As things, as the pages continue to grow, and as things has progressed, she knows the shot I need, right? So she'll try to stage stuff a certain way, and it's cool when you have somebody that's on board. And I think early on she was like, man, I don't know about this, man. Because it's a lot of work. Honestly,
It is a
people
lot.
don't see behind the stuff, behind the scenes stuff. You're a content creator for the company, and I'm sure personally as well. But
Exactly.
it's a lot of work. Just the staging, trying to get the right lighting, and then documenting everything, because you want the next person to look at it. And I don't want it to be, it's not what it used to be. Now, when I just first started and we kind of came onto the scene, like there was static posts, right? It was pictures, it was a carousel, it was something cool. Now it's reels. Now it's video.
Reels are the new thing for sure.
People want that. TikTok, took that and blew that up. People want video. My DJ stuff, that I didn't know that was going to help me out too with my voiceovers. I do voiceovers. I get a lot of people that hit me up that say it's almost like ASMR for them, because I apparently, and I guess I've always had kind of a radio DJ voice, right? But it's just me.
I hear it.
It's just how I talk. So that's also helped me out, because I've never been shy in front of a camera or in front of a microphone. That also helps me to be able to instruct a little bit more and not have such crazy long captions, even though that happens all the time, but to try to help people and show them a little bit of what I do.
Cool. Awesome. To close this kind of thing out right here, we want to ask you, if you had to pick anyone in the world or anyone in your past to, sit down, have a drink with, who would it be and why?
Wow. Past or present, huh?
Yeah, whoever, whatever comes to your mind.
Man, that's a tough one. And I'll tell you the reason why it's tough for me to choose, because we've had some people pass in our lives, right? That's just it's been wild. And not just pandemic, this is like pre-pandemic. We had a crazy, not to overshare, but we had a crazy like 2 years or 3 year period of our lives. We had like 5 people pass in our immediate family. So I automatically reflect on some of those. My father-in-law, my mother-in-law passed, my grandmother passed. She's one of I would say maybe my grandmother. She passed Christmas Day a little over 20 years ago. And talk about a crazy turn of events. But watching her, she also had the gangster cookie mentality, right? And that's where my mom got her stuff, and where she passed a lot of the things on to me. And I would definitely say that I would like to be the age that I am now and be able to ask her some things and learn some things from her, and a little bit more history of the family, her cooking techniques, where she learned some of her stuff, because that, to me, in my opinion, is probably the absolute grassroots and foundation of where all of this started, because that went over to my mom, and then that transitioned into me. And she actually says that a lot, even to this day. She said, oh man, my mom used to do whatever, right? And then that's kind of come over to what it is that I do. And I kind of took that, and now you see, like you said, my turkey video, I'm deep frying 2 turkeys for Thanksgiving. Thanksgiving's like my culinary Super Bowl, I call it. I turn up for Thanksgiving.
You can't wait to see the content we know is coming soon.
We actually had local news came out a few years ago.
Sweet.
They had asked what people do, and it's kind of like I said, it's a marathon for us. I do this crazy recipe for my mashed potatoes, and they know I deep fry my turkeys. And Eric Spielman from Channel 5 out here actually just called, and he was like, yo, I'm gonna be there tomorrow at like 5:30 in the morning. Are you down? And I was like, what? It was the night before Thanksgiving. I tell my wife, I'm like, well, apparently we got a news crew coming through. And they came through, and it was pretty dope. They were watching me deep fry my birds and do stuff, because it's big. I like to share, man. I like to, there's a lot of people out there that don't know how to do this, right? Or don't know how to do what I would consider something, that's easy, right? And people will come up and be like, oh, I've had people DM me, my dream is to cook the perfect steak. And they're like, dude, you bang that out like every cook. Like but my goal is to do it once. And, exactly. It's humbling, right? To know that that's somebody's passion is just to do that one time for their family. So, if I'm able to share anything, any bit of knowledge, I'm not a professional chef. Let me put that out there. I'm not a professional with my knife skills. I'm not a professional videographer. I'm just your regular, everyday fat dude with a couple grills who likes to cook and share what it is that I do. So and I let people know that. Quick, before we close out, I had a guy reach out. I think it was this last year. It was like right before Christmas. And he says, yo, how do I cook a prime rib? I'm going to do a whole prime rib for my family tomorrow. And I don't want to F this up. I'm like, bro, it's tomorrow, G. Are you serious right now? You realize in 24 hours, you got to feed a house full of people. You've never cooked a whole prime rib before? Never. It was I don't think it was a full 7 bone. I think it was like a 5 bone, but it was a pretty nice prime rib. Dude spent a couple bucks on it. And it was dope. Throughout the day, I'm walking him through it because James has done that for me. Chuck's done that for me. Benny from Kendrick Barb, he's done that for me. Some crazy, Adam's helped me get through the stall on some pulled pork before. Some cool people have done that for me, and I know what that's like. So I just put on my apron and I was like, let's get through this, bro. Let's do it. He was so excited. He DM'd me video of him slicing it and his wife's reaction to when he cut it open. To me, that's just so dope to be able to
that's what it's about,
any bit of knowledge and get somebody to put out a banging meal. So that's pretty dope.
Sweet. Well, the patch says it here, Familia. You're part of it. We appreciate all the support and everything, wearing our gloves, using all that. We hope that they're gloves that are able to help you do what you do better. So from GPS to you, thank you so much, Willy.
Awesome, man. Thank you. Yeah, the gloves it's kind of funny because, in the green, that's my color, right? I like the neon green and everybody chooses a color, but, I use those. I use the black diesels. And a lot of people hit me up constantly. They're like, yo, I know you guys, I know you're sponsored by these people. I'm like, whoa. Let's get one thing straight. No sponsorship. Like, I genuinely like small business. I like to support small business any way that I can. And if they put out a banging product, I'm behind that company. Like, and whether or not they support me in return, by God's good grace, you guys do, right? But there's a lot, there's a lot of other companies that don't do that, don't see it that way. And but if they put out something good, whatever their vibe is, as long as I know that they're a reputable company, they're putting out something good, I want to share that with people. And that's the reason why you don't see me promote too many things on my page. They're genuinely things that I use in my day-to-day life. From my seasonings, from my gloves to my thermometers, it's stuff that I genuinely use. So I appreciate you guys being down to earth, being so good about everything that you guys do. Amazing customer service, and the products speak for themselves, man.
Awesome. We have something new coming up for everyone too, that we got a new product we're going to be launching here soon. So stay tuned. Outreach. Thank you again. Talk soon. I'll see you, Willy.
You be good, man. Take care, brother.
Yep. Thank you.
Thanks for watching, everyone. If you like this video, drop a like, subscribe, and share with your friends. If you or someone you know has a story to tell and wants to be entered on our show, shoot us a DM on Instagram or TikTok, and we'll be in touch. Till then, catch all you glove gangsters next time.